liberty, not following the protocol what the others had been doing. I'll prefer to get up. कहते हैं जलजला ऊंची इमारत को गिरा देता है, आप तो बुनियाद के पत्थर हैं. सबसे पहले 3 cheers for all these future leaders who are sitting here at attending since morning. The role of a moderator is really very difficult in the last session because I know it has to wake you up because many of them are really tired. But with such a nice panelist we have got, and I'm sure with their passion and your patience, the session is going to be a really nice one because they will be able to handle things properly because with such a kind of an experience which they have got, I think things will be really moving in the right direction. So people had been, first of all, because before I start this, somebody asked this question about the telephone, that internet was not working. I asked this man one question: what is more important, right to the freedom of expression or right to live? Right to life is always very important. That's one of the reasons that the internet was shut for all these years. Next. So now coming to our panel, because why I said the Zalzala Unchi Imarat ko gira deta hai, because it's all about the youngsters. I'll be starting with, because being a storyteller, I don't know any other style of speaking, because I always keep on telling the stories, whether it's on the television, whether it's off air or whether it's on air. So here also I'll be telling you a story, a conversation between a partridge and a conversation between the vulture. Vulture had been flying in the sky and looking towards the partridge said that tum to sirf the zameen par baithe aasman ki taraf dekhte rehte ho. You always keep on looking towards the sky, but you cannot fly, because he was trying to mock and insult at that partridge. Partridge said, what is the purpose of your flying? Whenever you are flying, you are looking towards the earth and you're looking towards the dead bodies. At least while I'm sitting on the ground, I have got the moon and stars in my eyes and thoughts. So you need to keep that moon and stars in your thoughts. That's more important. I was talking about these people because I've got Jasveer Singh here, because he's the one, when he was contesting election, many of those mainstream political party leaders, they said, what is the purpose of contesting election? Because they boycotted Panchayat elections, saying that it is of no relevance. Because these were those politicians who had been predating upon the dead bodies all these years, because they wanted that vicious cycle of violence to continue. Because there had been, like what we call the white-collar terrorists, we call the black-collar terrorists, we got the state-sponsored terrorists, and we got the non-state actors also. So I think they proved them wrong, and you youngsters are going to prove each one of them wrong. But it will not be complete, because I'll not be talking about this place, because we have got the international delegates here also. People from Indonesia are here, people from Afghanistan here, people from many countries from the African continent are also here. So if I'll not be talking about Jammu region, I think it will not be complete, because problem is that when people talk about Jammu and Kashmir, they only talk about Kashmir. So I'll be trying to introduce you to Jammu region. This is not the ordinary place where you're sitting at. When I call Jammu University, I call it a mini Hindustan. Mini India. Why I call it a mini India? You will find those youngsters from Joda, you'll find the youngsters from Kachua who will putting close to the line of control, from the international border, from Pir Panchal Range, from Chenab Valley, coming over to this place. It's like a crucible. When they come out to this place, they melt, and that they melt, and there is one only spirit, and that spirit is called Hindustan, India. That Indian spirit is there. So that's the importance of this university, why I see. And then second thing, which I really want each one of you to clap for yourself, that is the Dogra spirit. I have never seen that such an accommodative, inclusive character everywhere. Because today, if you see that footprints of the India increasing, it is not because of anything else. It's not because of the size. It's not because of the girth of the country. It is because of that inclusive approach which our Prime Minister keeps on talking about when he talks about Sanskriti, Sabhyata, Samriddhi, Suraksha. Because all these 4 pillars he keeps on talking about. So it is because of this inclusiveness why I am saying this thing. When people from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir came, because they were targeted there, the people of Jammu received them with open arms. When people from West Pakistan came, they received them with open arms. When Kashmiri Pandits were targeted by the Islamist radicals in Valley, they received them again with open arms. This is only these people can do. We being the from, and today again, then they are tolerating most of the Kashmiri moderators also and listening patiently. So I want them to 3 cheers for them. So kind of a spirit that Jammu is having. Nobody can be so tolerant and having such a big heart. So it will not be right. But before I will not be speaking more, because I know this is, I am very happy also because such a serious topic where we are talking about peace building and youth. And first time you'll be seeing Sardar will be having a first word and last word also on such a serious issue. So I'll be requesting, we have got the panelist who is wearing several hats, because already our Atika tried to just give her introduction about her, that how she had been an engineer, she had been done her research in the water, she had got award so far as the water management is concerned, the Best Journalist Award also. And the best thing is that she is trying to project India outside. And whenever she is outside, she is thinking about India. And that is true about a Sardar also. You can take out Sikh from India, but you can never take out India from Sikh. That's what actually I keep on saying. And that's what exactly I see something happening here in this panel also. So my question to you, ma'am, is that many a times we have seen that it appears quite, people say it's unorthodox talking about your culture, your heritage, your past, because there is a kind of a disconnect. How important is this, staying connected with your heritage, because you have already written a book about that? How important is to know about that ecosystem, that knowledge, so that we can empower and build the capacity of our youngsters, and that can contribute in the peace building so far as the society is concerned. This time, if you are going to return, we are going to shut all those doors and windows. We will not allow this bird to go out. And the bird replies, the bird tells that person, क्यों लोड़दा मनु बूटे गलियां, दिल विच तेरे वसदी में रलियां, तोड़ नफरत दियां वारां नू, तोड़ इन्हां दीवारां नू, फिर तू मैनू कोल पावेंगा, अपने अंदर टटोल पावेंगा. If you are able to break those walls which you have resurrected all these years, trying to create those divisions between one community and other community, one country, other country, you will be able to bring peace in this region. And that's what actually the ma'am was also talking about, how the poetry can be used. We have got Beneath with us because there are so many other panelists also. We'll be listening to them. Often when we talk about the youngsters, one justification normally people give, because every time they try to justify violence, people say that why you had been taking up the gun in your hand all of a sudden. They said that there was unemployment. Some say it was a rigging. This was a normal justification we got in Jammu and Kashmir. So you really think that unemployment had been such a big problem, because everybody can't get a government job. If you talk about any part of the world, you can't be in the public sector. So what should be done? Because you had gone apna mustaqbil and you have made your future there while sitting in the United Kingdom. What you did and what will be your formula and your word of advice to the youngsters who had been cribbing, and how you want them to be doer in their life. Here, there used to be incentivization of terror. There used to be a premium on separatism. There used to be a policy called surrender policy. If you give up gun, you'll be getting so much rupees, and you'll be getting your government job also. And when they used to do so, that means you were encouraging terror-related activities. You pick up the gun, you kill innocent people, you leave gun, you'll be getting government jobs, you'll be getting money also. That was incentivization of terror. But now things have really changed. We have, in fact, the winds of change have started blowing after abrogation of Article 370. So some people were yesterday saying that by tourism coming over to this place, it will be funding jihad. I don't agree with that, because we have got the horizontal and vertical tourism both. When we talk about the vertical tourism, it's Amarnath pilgrimage, as well as it is the Vaishno Devi pilgrimage, because they come, they feed people and give flips to economy. Just because it is funding few people, we can't just stop that privilege to millions of people putting up in Jammu and Kashmir. So my question to you, Jasveer, is that because people say it was the dynasty politics, it was only the few families who were running the show, it was going on for so many years, and even if we talk about the Kashmir, it was not the whole of the Kashmir, it was only Sunni elite class that was calling shots. And they had been, it was a kind of a, understanding between the two parties. For 5 years, if you are there, the next 5 years we'll be there. We will not be talking about your corruption, and we will be burning the corruption of your, burying the corruption under the carpet. So what is the Jammu and Kashmir of your dream? And how you are going to make a difference as a young politicians here on the ground, and how you will be different from the lot that is present here. Trying to have the conflict on this side where they had been using youngsters as cannon fodder. But now we have got the directors sitting on this side of the border who are going to script new history and new India. That's the best thing. And what is more important is that when we talk about the conflict, because youngsters are sitting here, though I'm not a habit of giving sermons, but I want to tell you one thing, what I've understood over the period of time. The conflict is like onion. The more you peel, the more you will be having tears. So at the end of the day, you will not be getting anything from the onion. You keep on peeling it. All you will be getting is tears. The same thing is happening with the conflict also. Whosoever had been the drivers of the conflict, or those who had been perpetrators, they will not get anything except for death, destruction, tyranny, tragedy, and nothing else. So nothing will come out of this conflict. So what you have to understand is that the biggest challenge is that you should not cry for same reason again and again. As my friend Jasveer said, keep past, bury your past and move towards the future. That's going to be the best thing. Before I come to the question answer session, I will try to, because you know what, we are the privileged one. We don't have any such problem, because people, mostly I want to tell, because who had been reading the Western media and going through the stories, and we don't face any problem, because yesterday there was one girl from Afghanistan who had been here studying, I think, one of the universities doing PhD. I think we should salute their spirit, despite so many problems that they have got, that Jazba Janoon, that they have to continue with their education. I'll be reciting few lines, and after that we'll go with the question answer session. The few lines are like this. I got a chance to go to Pakistan a few years back, and I entered one of the room, which I often keep on reciting because it's a story about optimism. When I entered one of the room, the girl, the moment she saw me, she started hiding her book under the carpet. That carpet also, it was a kind of a rug, it was a chatai, where she started hiding. The moment I came out, I asked this question to the person who was accompanying me. I said, why all of a sudden she was so afraid seeing me? He said that there used to be Taliban who were against education of the girls. So I started laughing. I said, she saw my turban, maybe she must have thought one of the Taliban had entered, that's why she had been hiding that book. So when I came to my hotel room, I wrote a few lines which I'll be sharing with you, because it's full of optimism. I want the youngsters to go with that optimistic thought, because if you keep on cribbing, nothing is going to change, as Jasveer rightly said. लिखती हूँ मिटाती हूँ दरवाजे पर दस्तक सुन तख्ती को छुपाती हूँ, because they write on that takhti, that wooden slate. लिखती हूँ मिटाती हूँ दरवाजे पर दस्तक सुन तख्ती को छुपाती हूँ, किसी के जाने की आवाज़ सुन लफ्ज़ों को पिरोती हूँ सजाती हूँ, फिर किसी के आने की आहट किताबें चटाई तले सरकाती हूँ. The moment I hear somebody coming towards my room, I once again try to just push my book under the carpet. That's what I do. मेरे हाथ लथपथ चाक मिट्टी से. My hands are smeared with that chalk, or with that same chalk which I'm writing on the slate. मेरे हाथ लथपथ चाक मिट्टी से मेरे गुनाह का सबब न बन जाए. बढ़ती बंदूक को देखकर जोर से मुट्ठी बंद कर जाती हूँ, because I don't want to show them that I had been studying and reading. बढ़ती बंदूक को देखकर जोर से मुट्ठी बंद कर जाती हूँ. अचानक उनमें से एक की नजर पड़ी. See, I'm sure, because somebody was saying, asked the question, the girl from Indonesia, that why every time the Muslim has been shown in the picture. It's not like that, because that's the biggest mistake we people are committing. We are not painting any particular religion or region with terrorism, which we have never done that. Because if you think like that, then the purpose of whole conference and seminar will go waste and down drain. Nothing of that sort. अचानक उनमें से एक की नजर पड़ी, जोर से बोला उठाकर छड़ी, वो क्या काला कुफरे दाग है. दबी आवाज में हम बोले वो कलमा कुरान पाक है. Because she had been studying Quran Sharif, that had been there. He said, जब तुम उसी को समझ नहीं पाए हो, किस दीन की देती दुहाई हो. सब समझती हूँ पर चुप रह जाती हूँ, दीन के इन ठेकेदारों से अपनी नजर चुराती हूँ और इस सोच में जुट जाती हूँ, वो जो लगी हाथ उनकी. If they find my कलम, my pen, वो जो लगी हाथ उनके मेरी कलम को तोड़ेंगे, मेरी किताबों को चलाएंगे. क्या इन हरकतों से मेरे जहन की खुली खिड़की बंद कर पाएंगे? That will to study, to do something for my nation, something for my country. That's why I wanted to salute that girl from Afghanistan who had come so many kilometers away to study here. And why the people in Jammu and Kashmir who are getting almost everything. There are so many projects coming from the government of India, sports projects, Khelo India. So I think they should avail this opportunity rather than just trying to be those handful of that vocal minority. We should not fall into their trap. I will request, because I want, this is a youth, rightly said, Jasveer in fact rightly said, you want to say something, ma'am? A small thing, you will be saying, but my one question to you is, because you had been putting up in United States of America, on the 20th anniversary of 9/11, there was a program called Dismantling Hindutva. The Hindutva, which I understand, it's the most tolerant of all the religion, which is accommodative, inclusive, heterogeneous, pluralistic. Instead of talking about the jihadi culture that had been responsible for bringing down those Twin Towers, there is a lobby that had been working over time only to portray the gloomy and the bad picture about Hindus. How do you feel as a Hindu? Because when you are there, someone who is there for the peace, and not only the peace, because peace of the world, which we are talking about. How do you feel at that point of time?
Of course, I was.
That you are doing something, any of your action that's going to cause violence. And it's this program where we are trying to explain that how we have to prevent ourselves from conflict. And it becomes your duty, because when I say you are holding that mobile phone in your hand, it's like the world is in your hand. So it depends upon how you're going to use it. This microphone, if I'm going to use it in a proper way, it's a tool. But the moment I start saying something against, start abusing someone, you can't call it a freedom of speech. I think this is a misnomer. This is simply being created by some people. And if they say this is a freedom of speech, I said no. This freedom of speech should not be there. Freedom of speech doesn't mean that you hurt sentiments of others. That is not a freedom of speech. Got the Prithvi missile. Only that country is a superpower which has a good story to tell. And you should be very happy that you have got a very good salesman in the form of your Prime Minister, who had been selling the success story of your country in different parts of the world. So you should not be crippled. You should feel happy that today Jammu University is hosting this program. We all are sitting here. How many times you have seen that people from different countries coming over to this place? So you should be very happy with that. I know it's a paucity of the time, so we'll be ending.
When you say that we are lacking in technology, let me tell you, I live in the US, okay? Now, I carry my COVID certificate, COVID vaccination certificate in a paper, and I go about whenever, I have...
We have a huge